Did you know that Pump Science will pay you for every molecule that they test on the platform? Yes, that's correct. We're talking about kings of the pill. Now, the reason we're bringing this up is because RIF was just dethroned by RAP, and there was a lot of confusion as to what people were talking about with the airdrops. I want to make sure you guys have the full picture, and more importantly, I want to make sure you guys don't end up getting scammed trying to collect an airdrop, right? So in the DeSci Schiller's Telegram channel, right after RIF was dethroned by RAP, and we'll talk more about all of this in a moment if you don't know anything about Pump Science, but I want to give you guys the information right up the front here. But RAP just dethroned RIF because it had a better impact on extending the lifespan of the C. elegans, aka the worm trials. RAP outperformed RIF. And so, in case you didn't know, that because RAP is king of the hill, you got an airdrop for each new compound that graduates off of the Pump Science platform. And people were just didn't know what that was or how it worked. So here is what it is and how it works. If you hold RAP or Euro or RIF, because RIF was king of the pill, and all 12 of these worm trials that you see me hovering over right there, all 12 of those compounds that graduated off the bonding curve and made it to the worm trials, if you were holding RIF or Euro, you got an airdrop of those compounds, right? It's a very small airdrop, but it's an airdrop nonetheless. Now, if you hold RAP, any compound that graduates off of the bonding curve here, so you can see Omepol is graduated, Mirio is graduated, Rapgu is about to graduate, Omigo is about to graduate, and NMN graduated. I think this one graduated a little bit ago, but either way, all of these compounds, if they do graduate off the bonding curve, you'll get an airdrop if you're holding RAP. And the way that you go claim it is through Streamflow. So go ahead and check down in the description of the video. I'll put links to this and the Pump Science website and the Telegram group in case you guys want to be in there for that early DeSci alpha. There you go. You connect your wallet to this app. It is app.streamflow.finance. You connect it. I'm using Phantom, and then it'll just pop up right here, and you just go ahead and click on claim. You can go to the airdrops tab and see upcoming airdrops, whatever you want, but that's it. It's literally as easy as that. You have to pay a little gas fee on Solana's network in order to claim the airdrops, but you'll be able to see them, any airdrop that you're going to get, just right there on the homepage. Now, for anyone who is watching this who has had no idea what it is that I'm talking about here, let me give you a little bit of background on the Pump Science experiments and what to expect from this platform. So RIF and Euro back in November, December ran from $5,000 and $10,000 market caps, where you can see all of these sitting at, all the way up to $250 million market caps. It was pure euphoria. It was the craziest returns anyone's probably ever going to see in any kind of financial asset. Genuinely, it was like a couple 100,000x. Like, that's nuts. That's nuts. That drew in a lot of attention to Decentralized Science, and Pump Science now has a total of 39 compounds on the platform that they are testing for longevity on your health span. The goal here, let me go ahead down and click the How It Worms button. The goal here is to get a litany of unique combinations of different drugs or compounds or supplements that they can put together in different dosages to test on the classical worm, flies, and then mice animal models. This is kind of the foundation to testing different supplements and different things in animal studies. You test it on C. elegans, then you test it on flies, and then you test it on mice. And then you can go into some of the other trials and get to humans eventually, and then clinical trials, then FDA approval if it is that route that you're going down. If it's a supplement, you obviously don't need the FDA approval, which is kind of sketchy. But regardless, Pump Science is trying to simplify the barrier for people like you and I to just get into academia and start testing different things. And so kind of how it works is you list a compound and its token on pump.science, or trade existing tokens to fund the research. To contribute to research, click a compound, click trading tab, and use the trading widget. Trading fees fund the research, right? So every single one of these compounds here is a unique mixture of molecules or chemicals or whatever it is that they're testing. It literally can be anything as long as the lab will allow it. And they said that the lab will allow almost everything. But they will go through and put these through the worms, the flies, and the mice, so long as the token, which has a slight trading fee on it, generates enough volume and fees to fund the research. Then the research will commence and they can test the compound on it. And if the compound does really well, it dethrones the king of the pill on the worms, or it dethrones king of the pill for the flies, or eventually when we get mice studies going, it'll dethrone king of the pill for the mice, and so on and so forth. And so the goal here is to launch a compound that will dethrone them, and we can get more data points on longevity science here. So how does it worm with the actual money? If the token market cap hits 303 SOL, which is equivalent to roughly $75,000, the bonding curve is completed and 82 SOL is migrated to Meteora. Longevity experiments on worms begin streaming. So they will take 3 SOL from that bonding experience and fund the worm experiment, and the data is streamed on the Pump Science platform. You can actually come right to the platform. You could, when the experiments were live, you could go to the live tab and see the worm data. Now you would have to go to the molecules which have graduated on from worms and actually get to see all of that data, right? So you can go here and let's just go look at RAP, since it was the one that did the best. You can go to RAP, you can see the information about it. Let's see if they updated the doses yet. I don't see that, so they might have just removed it for the time being. But you can go on to data here and you can see the actual study here, and you can rewatch the video. They took 20 days or 28 days of data here and condensed it into a 15-minute live stream, 15-minute video where you just get to see the worms really fast, because no one wants to sit here and wait 28 days for an experiment to be done, right? They just want to see the results of the experiment. But you can see here that the RAP molecule allowed for a 26.7 day lifespan of the worms versus the control, which was at 19.8, right? Does that make sense? So the TLDR, the science is too closed off. Open up science by streaming experiments for all to see. Research can be slow. This will allow them to conduct high throughput science experiments powered by robotics and AI. Scientists shape science. Anyone can become a citizen scientist. No PhD required. And research is expensive and funding is too hard. Crypto trading fees fund the science. So literally, I could not love this for DeSci anymore, even if I tried to, because of how easy it is for anyone with an idea to then go test the compounds. You know how if you're on TikTok or if you're on social media at all, honestly, you're seeing a lot of people talk about peptides. BPC 157 is the one that comes to mind because it is being tested currently, or it was just tested through Pump Science. We don't really have a lot of experimentation data on these peptides, yet humans are taking them in troves because of how powerful they can be on longevity and on healing. Mostly the bodybuilder community is taking them, but if you get injured, people will go take BPC 157, but the problem is we don't have a lot of data on it. We just don't. And so now we're generating data through Pump Science because someone wanted to just launch BPC 157. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. I think it's absolutely genius what they're doing. Yeah, and I went over the migrating part of it and the 3 SOL. And for the other compound, or for the other tests, so once they've generated $6,000 in trading fees, they will do the longevity test on the flies. Once they've generated $46,000 in trading fees, it goes on to the mice experiments. And then once it has generated $112,000, it goes on to the decentralized human trials using wearables, which I really hope we get to see in the not too distant future. So far, we've only made it to the mouse trials, but I believe those had to end because we ran out of trading fees on RIF and Euro because DeSci went through a little bit of a bear market. Before I end off this video, I'm trying to keep it really short and concise for all of you guys. I know it's already 10 minutes, but I have a hard time stopping myself. A lot of people in the Telegram and in my Discord are getting kind of concerned about the number of experiments that are running on Pump Science. And I want to say 2 things. One, this is 100% diluting the money in the space. So as if you're just here to try and grab as much money as you can from the space, this is going to make that a lot harder. And part of me is annoyed by that. The other part of me loves it. And honestly, the overall ethos of what's going on here, I think, is worth way more than the dilution that's going to take place in all of this. Because yes, it makes it a little bit more difficult to just go in here and buy the top, if there were only 15 compounds, put $1,000 in all 15 and then hope that one of them ends up running up to $100 million and then you make enough money to retire, right? I understand that. But the overall idea behind this is to fund more research in academia for longevity, right? We want to see what compounds are going to extend human health the most. And like Benjol said in one of the presentations I saw him speaking in, he said that there's only roughly 10,000 compounds that have been tested. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting it, but he was disgusted by how little data we have on longevity for humans. And so that's their ethos to push that forward. And honestly, it's a fun game. You do your research into the compound, try and figure out which one's going to dethrone King of the Pill. And honestly, I don't think the market's really going to care at the end of the day. RIF got dethroned and it pumped 40% immediately after. So like, I don't think the market really cares that much. They're just here to have fun, and this is fun. Now, your time's your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing into. I appreciate you guys being here with me. I'm gonna go make some dinner. Peace.